and Abad Llewellyn, who are working closely together. At least this gives him some reassurance that there is still hope for the students. Then, his attention shifts to Leo and Chelsea, who are also working together. His eyes are particularly fixated on Leo. Although the fire stunt he pulled on Chelsea was pretty immature, getting Chelsea Llewellyn to cooperate at least earns him a passing grade in Albie's eyes, especially since he doesn't possess the power or grace of Celia and Abad. However, it seems this is where the teacher is utterly wrong, because our boy took down Celia without even breaking a sweat. Regardless, Albie Zeron considers Leo an unexpected dark horse in this competition. After slashing down a few monsters in their path, both Leo and Chelsea decide to move forward. It seems that Chelsea has finally started to realize that forming an alliance with Leo wasn't such a terrible decision after all. She then asks him what aura he's using, as she hasn't detected any mana from it. To her surprise, Leo casually drops the bombshell that he doesn't even know how to use aura. Unsurprisingly, this shocks and surprises her. While they're going back and forth, a monster is lurking behind the bushes, keeping a close eye on them. But Chelsea quickly notices the presence of the monster and fires at it instantly. Not gonna lie, this attack was way too overpowered for such a feeble monster. Even Leo admits that she does indeed have impressive strength, but the way she uses it is completely wrong. Suddenly, Leo senses something strange and tells her to halt her movements. He's noticed something odd in the sand. When he crouches down, he notices dry ground and decayed dead bodies of people. Out of the blue, an explosion erupts, but Leo quickly jumps away while carrying Chelsea in his arms. The sneaky bastards who had set the trap finally emerge from hiding. It turns out it's Gullivan and his partners. We all know that he's got beef with Leo, so it's no surprise he's here to specifically target him. He commands one of his companions to charge, and the poor fool obeys without hesitation. Unfortunately for him, he's greeted with a jaw-breaking blow from Leo, leaving him sprawled out on the ground. Leo stands tall, exuding total GigaChad energy, and calmly tells Chelsea to just watch his back. For a moment, Chelsea is startled, seeing how effortlessly he has saved her twice in a row. But she quickly gets up and positions herself behind him, ready to face the remaining goons. Meanwhile, Gullivan does what he does best, runs for his pathetic life. He abandons his crew, desperately trying to put as much distance between himself and Leo as possible. The only thought crossing through his mind is to find a partner fast. As fate would have it, Celia spots him from a distance. Instead of chasing him, she calmly walks into the direction he's running from. When they finally arrive at the scene, what they see is jaw-dropping. The area is littered with monster corpses and the bodies of students who had tried and failed to take them on. Naturally, Chelsea lights up at finally being reunited with her brother. Meanwhile, Celia throws shade at Leo, demanding to know what in the world he's doing with Chelsea. Leo proudly claims that it was his decision to form an alliance with her. Celia, however, finds it hard to believe. She would rather believe him if he had claimed to see a cockroach doing backflips than believe he managed to convince Chelsea the stubborn goat to form an alliance. To this, Leo casually and sinisterly claims that he simply convinced her. His wicked grin unsettles even Celia, who begins to wonder what exactly he might have done to convince her. Anyhow, our boy moves to help the students he just knocked out back to their feet. Seeing this, Abad questions why Leo is helping their opponents. Our boy quickly clears the air that there's no need to fight among themselves. Instead, sticking together to defeat the challenges of this world is a much better idea than fighting selfishly. Since Abad and the others seem clueless about what challenge he is talking about, Leo draws their attention to the nearby decayed corpses, hinting at a bigger issue. Seeing the corpses on the ground, one of the students comments that it looks like their moisture has been drained. Leo clarifies that this isn't the only odd thing here. He points out how this place, out of nowhere, seems completely devoid of any monster presence. It's as if the monsters are afraid of something, like a high-tier monster has appeared and scared off the others in the forest. As the pieces start falling into place, Abad finally understands what's going on. As far as his understanding goes, Hero Albie's first feat was defeating a high-tier monster. Just then, they all hear a massive roar in the distance, the sound of something close and ominous stirring deep in the forest. The roar fills the air with tension, a clear sign that the monster has finally decided to reveal itself. Meanwhile, Gullivan stumbles through the forest alone, holding a torch in his hand. He looks terrified, and despite being deep in trouble, his feeble mind is more focused on getting revenge from our boy than on survival. Suddenly, he notices a corpse at his feet, and there is also something behind this veil of darkness that causes him to trip and fall. The thing he saw in the dark is a giant monster. The monster looks like a giant spider, and it seems to be quite hungry. By now, it's clear that Gullivan is as good as dead. Let's explore what's happening with Professor Albie and the students. It turns out that a staggering 500 students all failed the exam. The real problem is the fact that the selection process requires the selection of at least 100 students, but there are only 50 of them still left in the test. Instead of forcing himself to pick, The professor believes that he's only going to select suitable candidates that meet his expectations. After all, the headmaster put him in charge knowing that he would pick the cream of the crop. Albie is a believer in discovering heroes in the time of great difficulty. He has gained an interest over Leo Plov, a dark horse with unexpected talent. The question is, will this dark horse be able to overcome the harsh exam? Going back to the scene of the students in the exam, they're fast on their feet and have trouble navigating because of the dark atmosphere. Celia illuminates her blade and claims that she's seen something up ahead. Her sword's red shimmer reveals the face of the terrifying spider who is currently devouring its prey. It strikes fear into their hearts as Abad rushes to use a mage spell to take down the threat. However, Leo is quick to stop him and advises Gullivan to break the crystal. Of course, Gullivan is out here becoming breakfast between the spider's teeth, so he can hardly move. He decides to smash the blue crystal, sending a wave of electricity inside the creature's mouth. With their preparations ready, Abad charges his Windfang spell and releases it upon the menacing creature. His attack manages to wound the monster, but fails to deal the killing blow. The four of them are horrified to comprehend the level of threat they're up against. This creepy crawly is the Spider Princess Tarantula, and she's not cute. One student foolishly lunges in with the hopes of a melee attack. He's humbled too soon with a single strike to his body, sending him crashing to the ground. Next up is Celia, who is arrogantly assuming that she'll end the fight with a single attack. Activating the Prominence spell, she releases a sharp yet destructive beam of red, piercing the creature's body and sending it waves of pain. However, the spider is as durable as a tank and quickly recovers, making Celia's approach useless as well. Abad uses this moment to talk her down, claiming that a mage and a knight's destructive power is incomparable. He releases a wind spell, Raphael, to slice the spider in an endless spiral. However, by the end of his attack, he's terrified to find the creature alive and well, staring him down. Sensing that her brother is in imminent danger, Chelsea casts her Windbreaker magic to help him out. Still, Abad suffers a cut from the spider's claw, though his sister's attack cushions the blow with her magic. She comes to check on him after he barely made it without losing an arm. They've tried everything against this monster, but its immensely fast regeneration proves them useless. Despair is setting in their hearts as the Queen Tarantula approaches to finish them. Leo comes in and explains that this creature is the daughter of Salatna. She was a deadly monster within Erebos' army, responsible for incinerating the elf forest. What's more, Leo reflects that the mana he detected in Professor Albie's left eye contains signs of the Fairy King's mana. The tarantula ruled over the cursed wild forest. Not only did she annihilate the forest belonging to the elves, but she also ate the most reliable comrade of the Fairy King who rebelled against her. At the time, Leo believed that Luna responsibly defeated Tarantula, but it turns out the reality is different. The tarantula survived thanks to devouring the Fairy King's assistant, who possessed the source of infinite life energy in the form of an invaluable artifact, none other than the Ring of Life. Abad is as stubborn as a log, and thinks that it's only right for him to take out the monster if it's a part of the exam. Both he and Celia decide to unleash consecutive strikes in the hopes of defeating the creature on their own. The tarantula endures their wrath, but Leo thinks it's all useless since the creature will just keep regenerating to no end. In fact, they'll be the ones to run out of mana first. In a last-ditch effort, Celia asks for his opinion on how they should handle the monster. Leo explains that it requires the teamwork of two, but his suggestion is immediately met with disagreement by Abad, who is selfishly hoping to overcome the monster on his own. The same goes for Celia too. With both of them acting like children, our boy comes and gives them a dear reality check, that if they don't work together to defeat the monster, they will all fail. His words finally get through. Abad amuses the possibility of them working together, and thinks that it will still consume some time to initiate a joint strike that kills the creature in one go. The thing is, since no one apart from them can stall the monster, it's going to be hard. Deciding to step up and contribute in their struggle, Leo expresses that he can buy some time for them. Celia thinks he's become a nutcase and reminds our boy that he can't even use aura yet. Leo confirms that he can hold out no longer than 5 minutes for them in his state. The magician Abad is afraid that their coordinated attack might still fail by then. However, Leo is absolutely certain that it will work and picks up a weapon from the ground. He adds that both fire and wind elements share a great affinity with each other, so it will be sufficient. Despite their differences, the Sword Princess and the Great Magician become allies, while Leo looks up to the ugly spider as a good challenge and a reminder of his past life. The fight begins with our boy impressively slicing off the creature's limb with a sharp swing, shocking the other two students. He goes on to annihilate the creature's face, and finds himself satisfied to find the monster of Tartaros. Exploring a flashback of the past, we see an elven child running in frightening tears. Unfortunately, the monster Tartaros captures him with its webbing. With the boy completely immobilized in the creature's net, there's just no chance of escaping anymore. The spider quickly arrives, ready to consume him whole. The boy begs for his mother's help and awaits impending doom, until one radiant being appears as a savior, a being of light that stops the creature from hurting the child. Luna felt infuriated with the creature wreaking havoc on her homeland, and going as far as to devour the contractor responsible for being the right-hand man of the elven forest. Luna releases a light attack aimed at the toothy creature. Her magic attack enveloped Tartaros, caging the creature before sending down a column of thunder. Luna wasn't expecting Erebos' army to have come and conquered the elven forest as well. At the time, Leo in his original life became responsible for freeing the kid, helping him escape the webbing net. Let's explore the current scene, where he's standing with an axe in hand, ready to buy time for his teammates. Still, he can't do much without his aura. Requesting Chelsea for help, Leo instructs her to use elemental magic, targeting him with her weapons. He evasively dodges a strike. Because of his immense speed, Chelsea is concerned that he might get caught up in the attack at this rate. However, Leo emphasizes that he's going to be just fine so long as she hurries up. Chelsea activates her magic, ready to mold any kind of weapon for him. Leo is fine with anything as long as it works. She manifests a weapon for him, while he guesses that she's preparing a scimitar and a bastard sword. With both weapons in hand, Leo unleashes his fury of slashes, cutting down on the spider. With each weapon breaking, Chelsea sends another one in his direction. He catches a dagger and a battle axe. Leo's shocking and overwhelming physical capabilities have shocked Chelsea to the core, so much so that she thinks he's an expert in martial arts. Even Abad can't help but think of him as strong. Still, it's not like he's invincible, as a sharp cut grazes his face. Leo thinks that if he can't even stop a stupid spider here and now, then his friends will never stop mocking him in the afterlife. He ramps up the intensity and cuts down the spider, requesting for another weapon. Unfortunately, Chelsea is all out of weapons in her disposal, which comes as a shock to him. Thankfully, however, Celia has already finished preparing her ultimate strike. She unleashes a roaring spiral of fire, incinerating the creature and defeating it at once. The ring of life drops is cleared from its body, and the monster is subjugated at last. Celia drops to the ground, thankful that everything is over now. Still, she can't help but focus on Leo's inhuman performance to hold back Tartaros for 5 minutes. Celia tries to praise him, but Chelsea is even faster with her words. She's become his #1 fan and thinks that his performance just now was comparable to the heroes of the legends. Leo doesn't think much of it, but this chick is going crazy for him as she wants to become a battle mage specialist. She pleads to learn from him. Funnily enough, Celia is hoping for Chelsea to receive exclusive training from him to get a taste of what suffering truly looks like. Anyway, our boy proceeds to grab the Ring of Life, which manifests Prince Silid as a fairy. He rekindles the prince's memory by saying his name. Hearing that, he goes back into the ring and accepting Silid as the Fairy King. This is all thanks to Professor Albie stumbling upon the Eye of Mana. The countdown for the testing ground is starting. Clearing Tay stage has earned them the reward of the Fairy King's pledge. Before they're transferred, Leo recognizes someone from his past life. Fast forward to Kalian Badian, the principal of the academy, who is reviewing the exam report of the Western Territory. His assistant wonders how many students Albie ended up passing because of his strict requirements. The headmaster is rather surprised to see 40 students coming clean from the exam, which still isn't a high number. The headmaster isn't too disappointed because this dude thought he'd only see 10 students passing at most. This is still a great achievement. Celia and Abad seem to be the top candidates in his expectations. The headmaster heard that there was someone who was recommended as the representative for the year. It's shocking enough that Albie of all people recommended a student. They're almost certain it has to be either the Zerdinger or Llewellyn candidate. But as it turns out, this candidate is someone that no one's heard about before, a name that exceeds both Celia and Abad in performance. We come to Professor Albie's side of things, who is sharply assessing the boy's abilities. He recommended the student Leo Plav as the representative of the Night Division. The headmaster expresses shock for the professor to speak highly of this brilliant student. He specifically described this candidate to boast the talent of a hero. Now that the examination is all done and settled with, our boy is enjoying a hot sauna all to himself, relishing in its warmth. The reward for clearing the exam is the Fairy King's pledge. Now when it comes to clearing a hero's living world, there isn't supposed to be a typical reward, but strangely, he was given one as the exception. Leo doesn't understand why and sees his mother standing in front of him. She confronts the boy, questioning if he knows why she was expelled from the House of Zerdinger. In an effort to rescue an ally, she ended up losing control and unleashed the flames of Zerdinger. But she hasn't come to regret her decision, not even now. Fixating her attention to her only son, she wants the boy's incredible talent to be steered in the right direction. Also, she's most delighted to congratulate him on being accepted into the academy. Stepping foot in the glorious Lumeria city, the students are requested to collect their belongings before stepping foot outside the gate. Lumeria is the centerpiece of the world, and its most prized institution is the Luminae Academy. With Leo finally having arrived, his uncle comes to greet the boy and shares his congratulations for passing. Leo wonders what he's doing here, and learns that the House of Zerdinger is currently busy resolving an unending debate that has been going on for at least a month's time. He quizzes the boy, asking if he knows the reason for the conflict. Leo wonders if it has anything to do with the inheritance of the Phoenix Breath. His uncle confirms that it's exactly the case, and while his older sister isn't a part of the Zerdinger clan, Leo is inevitably her son. Then there's the fact that the elders of the clan are highly impressed by the